Good morning, people. It's still morning. I know I barely made it, but morning was kind of whatever. So, welcome to Wednesday morning wisdom. So, I want to start today with a question: what gives your life meaning? Right? What makes life matter to you? Is it being a mom? Right? Does raising your children give your life meaning? What about your spouse? Does being loved in a certain way give your life meaning? Or how about work or achievement? Or perhaps you find meaning in helping others, like giving to the poor or the needy. Maybe it's education, right? What gives your life meaning? I want to read something to you for this morning's wisdom. Something from the wisest man who ever lived, Solomon. Right now, Solomon wrote a good portion of Proverbs, but he also wrote Ecclesiastes. And so Proverbs was written when he was a young man, and then Ecclesiastes was written when he was much older, right? And so in his youth, or when I say youth, when he was younger, he kind of turned away from God. And then when he got older, he came back. And so then Ecclesiastes is kind of from that, right? So I'm gonna read what he says. I said to myself, "Come, let's try pleasure. Look for the let's look for the good things in life." But I found this too was meaningless. So I said, "Laughter is good. And what good does it do to seek pleasure?" After much thought, I decided to cheer myself with wine. And while still seeking wisdom, I clutched at foolishness. In this way, I tried to experience the only happiness most people find during their brief life in this world. He says that. So here he's saying, like, I tried to drink myself happy. It didn't work. I've tried to seek pleasure for myself, and it was still meaningless. Verse 4, it says, I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and planting beautiful vineyards, this material possession, right? I'm trying to find out, I'm trying to make life matter. So he built mansions and houses, and, it says, verse 5, I made gardens and parks, filling them with all kinds of fruit trees. I built reservoirs to collect water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. I bought slaves, both men and women, and others were born in my household. I also owned large herds and flocks, more than any of the kings who had lived in Jerusalem before me. I collected great sums of silver and gold, the treasure of many kings and provinces. So, like, I'm collecting money. I'm paid. I'm doing very well as I'm doing very well humanly on the planet, right? He says, uh, I hired wonderful singers, both men and women. I He said, forget a playlist. I bought singers to my house and I had live entertainment. He said, I bought them. How much money you have to buy a person, to buy a singer? I'm not talking about a slave, like an actual person. How you gonna pay for Beyonce to sing at your dinner forever? You know how much money that is? I don't even know how much money it is. But Solomon says that's what I did. And then he says, and I had many beautiful concubines. So when it comes to women, all the sexual pleasure, all the women, like, I had sexual pleasure. I had folk cooking for me. I had folk cleaning for me. I had women to massage me. I had women to, like, here's what he says. I had everything a man could desire. So I became greater than all who had lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted to take, I denied myself no pleasure. He's like, I had everything. And then he says, I even found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for my hard labors. In other words, I enjoyed hard work because I got a reward for it. Like, some of you are working, you're working really hard and you want the payoff. He's like, I did that. But then verse 11 says, but as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere. That's crazy to me, right? And if you know, if you listen to me recently, I'm starting a new series called "That's Crazy." That's crazy what I just read. You know, I often tell my sons, since hindsight is 2020, you guys could avoid some of the situations that you are involved in, or you can avoid some of the situations that life is going to bring by using my hindsight. So you don't have hindsight until you've gone through something. But I've been through some things. You guys can use my hindsight. That's what I tell my boys. And I believe that's what Solomon is doing here, right? He wants you to use his hindsight so that you can avoid looking for meaning in all the wrong places. Right? Solomon says, I've experienced more and attained more than all the kings before me. Think about this. What would your life need to look like if you were king of the planet, right? And I know that's not possible, right, to be king of the whole planet, but just imagine if you could use your imagination, use your Disney mind. If you could be king of the entire planet, what would your life look like? What would it be like? Right? You'd be able to do anything that is humanly possible to be done. Nothing you want would be denied you. That was Solomon. That was Solomon. But after all of that, he concluded there's nothing in this life that can give your life meaning. And if you chase after anything in this world, it'll crush you. That's his message. This is a real problem, especially today, because so many people are trying to find meaning in things that can never fulfill them. Week after week, people come to see me to help fix their marriage. And the main issue we have to deal with is this issue. Couples trying to find meaning in their life through their spouse, by the way that they're loved by their spouse. Most married people are trying to find meaning in human love, although they don't even know it. You may be doing the same thing, and you may not even know it. But the answer to this problem and the wisdom that I want to leave you with today on this Wednesday is actually found in John 6:35. Yeah, in John 6:35, Jesus says, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never, underline never in your mind, never. He says, those who come to me will never be hungry again. Whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. So when you're looking for meaning, in essence, you're thirsty, right? I remember a few years ago, that was the thing, young kids, you thirsty. Don't be so thirsty. Blah, 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 blah. And I still hear it every now and then. Oh, that's a thirst trap. The truth is, all of us humans are thirsty. And Jesus says, I am the only one that can give you living water. And when you believe in me, you'll never have to look for meaning in life again. In other words, there is a God-sized hole in your soul. And until you allow that hole to be filled by him, nothing else in life will matter. And I know you may not believe that because you haven't lived long enough, or you hadn't tried everything that you think is going to make your life matter. But there's a quote by Jim Carrey. I'm going to end with this quote. He says this, I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed to do so that they can see that's not the answer. So that's the wisdom for you today. Find meaning in life in Christ only. Y'all take care.